Welcome to Art and Flatnixing number 43 on some paintings by Carole Vanderlinden. Bonjour. I find myself in the studio of Carole Vanderlinden, and these are some unfinished paintings which she calls backgrounds. You see the unpainted borders that have not been covered by a new background. I see remainders of previous paintings, overpainted like this, then overpainted again, then provided with a fragment of paint glued on the canvas. There's another background, another unfinished painting, because most of Carole's paintings consist of many layers of previous paintings, so as to thicken the basis on which the final interventions will determine the final appearance of the work. Here we see this background upon which this has been painted, then the circles, then this on top, the ochre ones, and then the grid, and then the coloring of some of the diamonds, some parts of the grid. This is another unfinished painting with motifs that are very often derived from folkloristic traditional arts, such as weaving, that by the nature of their technique lead to geometric shapes which, when copied by Carole, seem to refer to modernist themes. Sometimes these shapes come from collages or cutouts. Il était droit, hein?
Il était droit?
Oui, oui.
Là, maintenant?
Un peu plus vers la droite. Oh. Thank you, merci, oui. Very often the word comical comes to mind when I see her work, but people don't like when I say this. This painting comically reminds me of Victor Boogie Woogie. It's a game with grids that remind us of Le Corbusier or the way Mondrian saw New York. But then, of course, using lots of shapes that do not behave in a strict grid, behave as a grid or purely geometrical, but more as shapes or color additions that evoke geometrical shapes in us without really being one. And then of course there are the colors, which one can call wild maybe. Astonishingly, does this word exist? The artist just told me she has the impression never to be free. Very often the paintings have borders like these, or like this one, to prevent, I think, the painting from behaving like an image. If you push back the so-called image by giving it borders here, and with image I mean the pictorial appearance of the painting, the thing we can see from far away. If you prevent this from spreading beyond the frame of the picture, you prevent it from behaving like a photograph which almost always behaves as a section of a perceived reality, which of course has nothing or very little to do with the nature of a painting, which is a part of reality in itself. It's not a representation of reality. We see beautiful juxtapositions of similar colors, such as here. Very subtle shifts of shades or values, combining two types of blue, for example, or two types of red, two types of yellow. You see here also two blues, two different blues. People can also choose to see a portrait in this painting. And also the right one seems to behave like a portrait. We see a border as well, which is not always something that's left over, it's always painted totally in front. We see different shades of grey here, also very light grey here in the corners, also different shades of very light grey, painted dryly and matte, with matte paint, whereas the round shape consists of shiny paint, painted wet in wet here, with circular brush strokes, as if the paint has been mixed on the canvas, and then here with a totally different way of applying the paint, less brilliant, less shiny, more spot or stain-like. In this painting, what appears to be the representation of a house corresponds to some color stains. The black outline creates this mirror effect. At the bottom, the background is filled in. Here it's almost close.
Ça, c'est aussi sur du plâtre que je prépare la toile de jute. Ça me fait penser à Marcel Yanko. Je sais pas si tu vois le dadaïste.
Une surface plus lisse, dense aussi tout de suite.
Oui. Et à côté.
Oui, j'ai vu ça sur le truc
C'est
rouge.
aussi.
Celui-là, oui.
C'est du plâtre, c'est pas de.
Oui, j'avais vu ici le.
Et ça, j'ai vraiment repris de l'idée que lui a fait sur la toile de jute. Peut-être que tu connais ça. Ça te dit quelque chose, Marcel? J'avais vu ça. C'est les dadaïstes.
Et tu as vu
Tout
ça
est
en
beau.
réalité?
Oui, j'ai vu ça à l'expo Dada Africa à Paris. Ça te fait rire?
Non, 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 non.
Avec Ferdinand d'ailleurs, on a vu ça il y a quelques années à l'Orangerie. C'était une révélation. Il a fait aussi des très beaux masques en carton.
Kartonnen maskers.
Oui. C'était ça que tu demandais tout à l'heure, le morceau. Tu as connu cette peinture il y a quelques années. Parce qu'elle est dans un livre. Où est-ce qu'il en reste? Et j'ai beaucoup utilisé ça. C'est comme ça que tu m'as demandé les collages, ça a commencé avec ça. Et c'est vraiment des feuilles d'huile. Et ça, c'est des morceaux de plâtre. Parce que cette peinture que tu vois là, c'est aussi du plâtre sur du bois. Mais le
Sur le
fer,
chevalet.
ouais, est tombé, donc j'ai récupéré les morceaux
Mhm.
que j'avais pas envie de jeter. Je sais pas ce que ça va. C'est peut-être.
C'est un beau portrait.
Oui,
Ah oui. De mon père.
de ton père, du mien aussi.
Ah, pauvre père.
Pauvre enfant, non?
Dus hier zijn stukken gips afgevallen. Geverfd gips. En die heb je hier opnieuw gebruikt.
Geplakt, ja.
Geplakt. Dat heb je er toch aan toegevoegd daarna.
Ja.
Dat is ongelooflijk
Dat is
cool.
enorm.
Volgens mij is die af. Hè. Je kan er ook niet aan doen dat je er maar een uur aan gewerkt hebt. Hè. En dan daar zijn de andere stukken van de puzzel.